¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Welcome, everybody. Cosmic Seeking, happy Monday indeed. Yes, the weekend was pretty good. Lots of work. We are currently almost complete in one of the major projects that need to be done. So that's good. We will also... oh, that reminds me. Folks, this Thursday, there will be no stream. This Thursday there will be no stream. I've got a good friend, good friend paying us a visit. So Thursday there will be no stream. I think I said this like a couple weeks ago, but just as a reminder. And as always, I will post in the Discord and or make a tweet. Usually I forget the Twitter, but whatever. Happy Juneteenth. Alio with the 11 biddies. Thank you so much. I had a bad summer cold. Yikes. Well, hopefully you're feeling better. So as it also turns out, the last stream, my kitty cat decided to chew up my other headphones, so I'm now using these. These are actually not that bad, to be quite frank. They definitely work. All right, folks, we have quite a few things to go through. So I think we should probably start on the Backosphere video. We'll start with the video. We always do. Echo Resto Dragon, how's it going? Love the purple jacket, sweater. Since the co-host, oh, the headphones. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. No, the headphones aren't purple. They're they're reflecting the purple light that's on this side. Yeah, it's the reflection. So we always, since the co-host's favorite color is purple, there is something purple always. In this case, it's going to be the little light accent. We decided to go with that since the co-host's favorite color is purple. But yeah, I guess it kind of turned out all right. A good linked video to what? Let's see. Whoa. Oh, Gavin Newsom. We'll see if we can take a look at this. All right, folks. Let's get some of these clips ready. Let's talk about a little bit about the debt deal. Brian Taylor Cohen covering Hannity trying to bash Biden with Newsom's help. Oh, I mean, Lucian, how's it going? Welcome. Let's take a look.
Well, the debt deal finally passed, and it's not as bad as it could have been, but we still have to discuss some changes that impact environmental policy. So let's get into it.
I would argue.
Hey y'all, it's Becky here from...
I would argue that it was kind of... I think it was dog shit. I don't think anybody won here. We just lost as the working class. Giuliani sent emails under a female alias to discuss plot to overturn the election. No way. Oh boy. Whoa. All right. Just lower that here. We got a few things to queue up. That's wild.
The Backosphere, where we talk about climate change and the clean energy
By the way, go
transition.
like and subscribe.
If you care about those issues, give this channel a follow, and let's dive into the debt deal. The split Congress finally passed a debt reform deal that cuts certain budgets in order for the government to not default. From an environmental standpoint, this deal was mostly not in the planet's favor.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have a feeling that it wasn't, like, a lot in anyone's favor. In terms of like the working class, I think the working class took an L on that one. Just saying. Also, follow the Backosphere on Twitch as well. She does stream Tuesdays now and Fridays about I want to say 1 p.m. Eastern. That's Eastern time, so noon I think is her time, but about 1 p.m. Eastern. So go follow her and join the Twitch chat. You might I usually at some point make my presence known, but I'm there.
There were 3 main changes included in the deal, so let's break it down. First, the approval timeline for the controversial Mountain Valley Gas.
Yeah, which we talked about, by the way. This was absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous.
Gas pipeline project was expedited, making it practically impossible for environmental organizations to block it with lawsuits at this point. The pipeline project was already well on its way to being approved because President Biden needed to promise it would be approved for West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin to support the Inflation Reduction Act last year. Manchin is the most fossil fuel funded person in Congress.
No kidding. No kidding. I mean, like, the dude's been working overtime. The dude's been working overtime to advance the interests of the fossil fuel industry. Can't find the name like welcome. Can't find a name I like. I missed that part. My bad. I'm dying right now. What happened? Jeez.
By far. So at the end of May, we saw the Bureau of Land Management process the right-of-way application and the Forest Service give it the okay. Equitrans Midstream Corporation's $6.6 billion project will bring fracked gas 300 miles from the Marcellus Shale fields in West Virginia to a facility in Virginia. Besides adding to the fossil fuel infrastructure at a time when climate scientists have clearly indicated that no new projects should be approved if the world is to maintain a stable climate, the pipeline will invade Jefferson National Park and cross nearly 1,000 streams and wetlands on its way to its destination. These are the main reasons why environmentalists have protested this project for years now. Before the debt deal, environmentalists were still able to block the project in courts, but now that pipeline project is pretty much invincible. Another change made in that,
which is horrible. At this point in time, I mean, like, it is 2023, and we've had decades and decades and decades of studies. We know where we're at. We know where we stand with this crisis. And we just can't do it. We just can't afford more new fossil fuel projects. We just can't. We just can't. I just watched a clip of the guy who paid an Uber Eats driver $50 to yeet his food into the side of his house so he could catch it on his Ring camera for a meme. For a meme? Wow. For a meme. Wow. Amazing. Manchin is basically a Republican. I mean, like, he's a conservative Democrat. This is their problem. This is their problem. They need to own that.
debt deal that will impact the environment is it requires environmental assessments of energy projects to take no more than 2 years now. Usually these processes take around 5 years to complete. It also reduced the page count environmental reviews can be, likely to reduce the use of graphics and maps that can make the assessments more understandable to the public. It would allow projects to pay an outside company to write the impact review too. The deal also requires one agency to be appointed as the head of the environmental review process when many agencies are involved. So on the bright side, these changes could speed up clean energy project approvals and organize who's in charge of the process. On the downside, it could speed up fossil fuel projects and make it more difficult for the public to understand project impacts.
Right, but like that's the point. While theoretically, yes, but it could be used for streamlining the process for like a renewable project, but that's not what it's going to be used for. let's be honest. That's not what it's going to be used for. But spiritually, he belongs. True. I remember hearing that when they put it in the debt ceiling bill, it passed a lot. It bypassed a lot of the approval process. Yep, because it was Manchin doing, a Herculean effort to get this done for his fossil fuel donors. I mean, can you imagine if any representative, if a good enough amount of representatives put that much effort into actually giving a shit about the American people? Can you imagine?
It potentially provides a huge loophole to fossil fuel companies by allowing them to hire non-government groups to do environmental review, which gives a similar energy to the Norfolk Southern using the company to assess air and water contamination after the train derailment. Agencies would have to exercise serious oversight for this not to become a problem, which they just really haven't shown like they're going to do. This deal also doesn't seem to make any difference on how fast transmission lines are approved, which is one of the biggest barriers for the clean energy transition right now. And how much this will actually impact the timeline of energy projects depends on who you ask. Because this new rule gave no additional funding to the EPA to hire more staff to help make things go faster. So there's not really any way that this rule could be followed or necessarily reinforced. There were originally a lot more
Me thinks that's kind of like the point, right?
painful efforts to defang the National Environmental Protection Act, or NEPA, in the debt deal written by the GOP members, but numerous revisions reduced any damage it would necessarily cause. Maybe the biggest impact to NEPA's influence is actually beyond the US's borders. The deal made it so extraterritorial projects don't need environmental reviews at all, at least not on the US's side of things. And the third change the debt deal made is something that will actually benefit the clean energy transition. Let's end things on a bright note, shall we? That's that energy storage projects will now qualify for an accelerated permitting process that was originally only available for transportation projects. This will help make wind and solar more reliable forms of energy generation. So overall, what do you think of these changes?
Garbage.
Let me know in the comment section below.
Garbage.
And until next time, remember to talk about the climate crisis every single day and to support your local news organizations.
Thank you so much to the people on Patreon who help support me and my fur baby Rue. A special shout out to the climate confident and courageous David H., Norman Anal, Greg H., Paul B., Phil Plasma.
All right, excellent video. 2023, more like 1984. Welcome.
We have some new revelations that have come out of the lawsuit filed by Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss in the state of Georgia against Rudy Giuliani. This is a defamation lawsuit that the two women, a mother and daughter pair, filed against Giuliani. These, of course, are the election workers from Georgia that Giuliani falsely claimed had, manipulated the ballots in some way.
This is terrible. I hate that they use the debt ceiling to justify this BS. Yeah, 100%. 100%. You're absolutely correct. It is absolutely ludicrous that this guy leveraged the debt ceiling to get goodies for his fossil fuel buddies. It's bullshit.
And cost Trump the election in Georgia in 2020. It was revealed late last week in filings in the court that Giuliani, as he attempts to fight turning over more of his electronic communications, was using an email address under a female alias to work with his co-conspirators, I guess you could call them, to overturn the results of the...
Like, okay, hold on. Again, I would also like to just kind of add, like, preface this, add to this, whatever you want to call it. The Republican Party, Trump's campaign, representatives, elected people in office, in numerous states collaborated and attempted to overturn the election. That is wild that that's not like, that's continuously not really talked about at all, even in the mainstream media. I mean, like, that's literally the story in terms of, like, electoral politics. That is the story. A president lost an election and then conspired with that party, the same with his party, to overturn the results of the election. I mean, and this dude, by the way, is running for president now. Oh man, I mean, like, you can't make this up. And the fact that this is even, the fact that this is not even talked about that much is wild to me. Rudy pretending to be a woman? No way.
2020 election. The email, and I can read it because it's in this report, is rhelen0528@gmail.com. rhelen0528@gmail.com. Not Rudy G at Gmail, not R Giuliani at Gmail, rhelen0528@gmail.com. Why was Rudy Giuliani sending emails from an account with a female name?
Because they're trying to, well, at the time they were trying to overturn the election, so I guess they thought they were being slick? I don't know. Oh, man.
Talking about overturning the election results. Well, it turns out Rudy Giuliani's mother, who passed away in the year 2002, her name was Helen. So if Rudy Giuliani wanted to send out emails so people would know who it is, but others would not be able to recognize it, he could use his mother's name as the email address and they would understand, okay, this is Rudy. Now, that's speculation on my part. I'm not saying that is what happened. I'm saying that.
But it makes sense, though. If his late mother's name is Helen, I mean, yeah. Yes.
It's a possibility. But here's the thing. Giuliani doesn't want to turn all this over. But we also knew already that there was an rhelen0528@gmail.com email address that was sending messages to Mark Meadows, and this was revealed during the January 6th committee investigation about overturning the election results.
Oh.
So this was the email, which is not Rudy Giuliani's primary email, by the way. This was the email he was using to send messages about what's happening in Georgia, send messages about what's happening in other states, conspire, with other...
I mean, like, this is so blatant. It's unfathomable how brazen is the word I'm looking for. It is unfathomable how open this basically was. Wow.
Trump officials, including Mark Meadows, about overturning the results. This is a big one. In fact, there is one where they also talked about Trump doing the executive order to go and seize the voting machines. Why couldn't Rudy Giuliani just use his regular email address? He has his own website. He has his own business. By virtue of having either one of those, they do come along with personalized email addresses. And my best guess, again, this is a hypothesis and I'm going to throw it out there, is because it's kind of like having a burner phone. It's not your primary one, but it's the one that you use to do things that you ought not be doing. So in my book...
He knows exactly what he was doing. They all knew exactly what they were doing. They just like I guess they thought that like because you used a burner email that nobody was gonna find. Like what was the thought process here? Rudy Giuliani's law license has been suspended. Oh yeah, we know.
This fake email address, which by the way isn't even the only one that Giuliani had, to me that signals intent. To me, that signals that he knows what he was doing was wrong and could possibly even be illegal, and he didn't want it traced back to him, so he wanted to use it.
But again, these people are clowns. Anything on the internet can be traced back to you. Okay? It is incredibly difficult, okay, to be really anonymous like that. Like, if you have a burner email, burner account, it can be traced back to you. A good rule of thumb is if it's on the internet, it's hackable. If it's on the internet, it is accessible. If it's on the internet, it is forever.
A different email address so people wouldn't be able to identify off the bat that it was his. That's what I think happened here. Either way, we won't know until all of these investigations conclude. We're not going to get any real answers about why he had this secret, Helen email address in this particular case, because this is defamation, right? They're not looking for evidence of overturning. This is not a criminal trial. This is a defamation lawsuit. But the information provided here can possibly be shared with prosecutors in Georgia. It could possibly be shared with the United States Department of Justice and Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. Because I think at this point, somebody somewhere in either Georgia or the federal government needs to be looking into why Rudy Giuliani was using an email address named Helen to talk about overturning our democracy.
I suspect that it will. I mean, like this dude is like fried so many different ways. In a just world, Trump and all these people should be going to jail. All of them. All of them. Trump and every single one of the people that helped him. All these Republicans, from state to local officials to senators who tried to play coy. Nah, fuck them all. All of these people who participated in this attempt should ideally go to jail. Because it's not a game. It's not a game to fucking like unironically have this. And it's not just Georgia. There are several states that they tried to do this. No, I'm not talking about like the pundits. I'm talking about like the people who had an active role, like Giuliani, Trump, all these Republican representatives that tried to make that scheme. The ones that were trying to shoehorn the fake electors. All those people, all of them. Bipedal Meatbag, how's it going? Who uses Gmail to do crime? Do they not know who owns Gmail? True. Lindell Bannon, I mean, if they had an active role in terms of like, I'm talking about like the people in government, the Republicans in government who made a concerted effort to overturn the elections. I'm talking about those people. Bannon maybe because he was working as like he had some role in government. But yeah, all these people should straight to jail, as the meme goes, straight to jail. All of them. The Republicans who concocted this fake elector bullshit, the ones who tried to shoehorn the fake electors, the Republicans who aided in procuring that, the lawyers, Trump's team, like all those people that participated, should all go to jail. Lulu Safe, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, if they participated in that, If they participated in that, then yes. Yes, they should. The government, yeah. All of those people. Because, like, if there's no accountability, if nothing really happens, then they're just going to do it again. They're just going to do it again. In fact, Trump has been priming the pump since before 2020. Okay, the dude has never stopped. The dude has never stopped. And there are still people within government, and there are still Republicans who believe that the 2020 election was stolen.
Kind of sounds like the thing we need a little bit more of answers on before this is all over. Hey everyone, this is Ask.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting development. Bannon was appointed chief strategist and senior counsel to the president-elect. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. All of these people who acted in some kind of capacity with regards to these plots across several states to overturn the election, all of those people is who I'm talking about. Trump is truthing about the GA election case? No way. Oh no, I thought he was told not to do anything, but that's probably related to the one he just got indicted for. Chris Christie and Bill Barr called Donald Trump a child, like a defiant 9-year-old kid. Yeah, but both of them are complicit. I don't give a shit of what, like, you know, Bill Barr has like a moment of clarity. Nah, fuck them. They're not even good at being criminals. It's like boomers trying to program the TV. Yeah, and like almost as far as we know, no accountability. Will we see that in the Georgia case? Maybe. Until then, you know, they essentially, for all intents and purposes, got away with it. If maybe like a couple of them go to jail, then some accountability was made, but like, no, they all need to have harsh consequences, because like that's just the type of shit that can't fly. That's just the type of stuff that can't fly. Sorry. A U.S. judge in Florida on Monday ordered defense lawyers for former President Trump not to release evidence and classify. Okay, cool. So that's what I thought. Gotcha. Let's see how much of this we can see.
I think his policies are failing. CHIPS Act, Science Act, do you oppose that? I will tell you, on every measure, from the economy, inflation.
That's not an answer. Stop. That's not an answer. Like, if you think that a piece of policy is garbage, you need to be able to say why, right? It's that simple. If you have a problem with like the policy that's being put out there, then surely you must know why. Beginning with what's in the policy to begin with. Oh man. Will be UFO news today? What? No, I don't know.
Borders, energy, national.
So he just completely pivoted the conversation. Governor Newsom asked him, like, did the CHIPS Act fail? And he named another policy that I can't remember. And Hannity immediately sidestepped and pivoted to, I don't know, but anything else, he's like basically failing on everything. What?
Security, he's missing in action.
Let's talk about them in order.
Hang on.
Whoa! All right, so this is this is what we call a gish gallop. Gavin made a monkey of the interview. Well, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to clown on Sean Hannity. Okay. It's really not that hard to clown on Sean Hannity. Trump is going to spill everything just to spite the judge. I mean, if he does, I mean that kind of makes the the judge's job easier, right? If the judge gave a fucking order that you can't be doing this shit, and the dude's just gonna do it on True Social anyways, and fuck it, lock his ass up. Fuck that guy. The Biden crime family. The Ketchup Lord, thank you. Faux news, true.
Wait, but I want to challenge the premise. You said the economy, 13.1 million jobs he's created. More.
These are post-COVID jobs.
Okay.
You know that.
Well,
I mean, that's an article.
Hold on, both of these are wrong. The economy's fucking garbage, okay? I'm sorry. Both of them are wrong here. The economy, the real economy, is fucking garbage. Lock him up? Who, Trump? Yeah.
Official number.
No. Then let me stipulate this as an opportunity to engage civilly on this.
Okay.
Fair point. Your president, Donald Trump, lost 2.6 million jobs during his 4 years. We've created 13.1 million. Fine, you can maintain a COVID frame. How about the fact that Joe Biden's created more jobs, 6 times more jobs than the previous
What kind of jobs? Here's a question. What kind of jobs? Because if the whatever 20 kajillion trillion jobs that he made, if the quadrillion jobs he made were like fucking minimum wage jobs that don't pay fucking cost of living, then like that's kind of like defeats the purpose, right? You're just okay. I think Newsom will be a major presidential candidate in 2028. You think he'll toss his hat in the ring? I don't know. I don't know. The DNC would not stand for that? What are you talking about? I think the DNC would be... He's pretty in line, I think. I don't think, like, Newsom is, like, some kind of, like, out of pocket fucking candidate. Yeah, we made jobs after that huge loss in COVID. So, yeah, I'm not questioning that. I'm not questioning that. I'm asking what kind of jobs. Are they, like, jobs that are paying, like, normal, like, living wages? No. I like how Gavin called Trump your candidate. That's good. That's a good rhetorical, that's a good rhetorical device. Construction mainly, they pay well, but they're only temporary. Gotcha. Did Biden create them, or did it happen under him? Well, yeah, it happened under him. I mean, like, Biden isn't physically out there creating jobs, okay? The policies that he supports and the policies he signs off for would be the more accurate way of saying it. I would like to see Newsom fight harder now and then run for president later. I mean, I would prefer a Newsom more than I would a Biden. I would prefer Newsom more than a Biden, but like still, Biden's is the most popular incumbent. But to put another candidate up for the party would be precarious at best and stupid at worst. Yeah. I guess. I guess. Right now, as it is, it's not looking good. As it is, the election stats polls are pretty even. Trump, by the way, there's a recent poll. Trump hasn't really fallen off that much, which is a pretty fucking scary thought. We'll see how this plays out, but very, 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 very scared. And damn well that most Americans don't have that have less than 500 in savings. Yep. I'd like to see him switch in the 9th hour. The GOP would have to do a major strategy shift. RFK. Oh man, we'll get to him. Don't worry. 2023. We'll get to him. Dude's a fucking lunatic. The guy's a lunatic.
Three Republican presidents combined.
Are you going to tell me
Sean,
that the average family, where we have 2/3 of Americans now living paycheck to paycheck,
it was 70% under Trump? That was
That's not
70%.
true.
It was
Under Donald
70% under Donald Trump. living
Pre-COVID,
paycheck
we
to
had the
paycheck.
lowest unemployment rate for every demographic. Now,
We have the lowest
let
black
me
unemployment in
pause you.
history.
Oh my God. He's basically a Republican with the name of a Democrat. Infinity and Zero, welcome. See, if the Democratic Party really wanted to win, they would pick a Southern progressive Democrat for the nomination. Republicans wouldn't know what to do with this. Maybe. But I do think that certainly more progressive politics, more popular progressive politics would win against would win in a general election. Manufacturing was in a state of recession under Trump before COVID. Gotcha. This was an awesome interview. Newsom ran circles around Mr. Know-It-All. Oh man. Like I said earlier, to be fair, it's not exactly hard to clown on Sean Hannity. Okay? It's not exactly hard to clown on this guy. To be fair.
And you and I are living with the lowest unemployment in our lifetime, Sean.
We
You
had
can't
it for
make that
every
up.
demographic, and the economy was
Black
humming along.
unemployment's record low under Joe Biden.
Okay, we had historic low after historic low under Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. I mean,
Here's
but he's
what I don't
cleaned
wanna have
Trump's
happen.
clock, Biden, in terms of the progress on job creation.
Look
at what he's done on
so
jobs.
What would you grade Joe Biden's presidency?
Well,
Because you're at odds with the American people and the Democratic
Well,
Party.
I'm just dealing with
What's
the
your grade?
facts. I'm dealing with the facts.
What is your grade for
I'm
him?
going to go back. Let's talk.
But what are
you
your
brought up
feelings?
six topics.
Listen, Newsom. We're not interested in facts. Hey, buddy. We're past the whole facts thing. What do your feelings say, Mr. Newsom? What do your feelings say, Mr. Newsom, sir? Oh man, Jesus, it's like watching a Twitch debate. Well, yeah. But also, is getting a job in manufacturing, even as a general worker, has gotten harder. The qualifications have gotten higher. He inherited that abundance. And Twitch debates are better at times. It depends. It depends.
Just some questions.
I'm answering the ones in order. You brought up the economy. On the economy, let's talk about the economy.
You want to give him an A?
Inflation, stubborn around the globe. Let's talk about inflation. It's down 40% since last summer.
Yeah, like also to talk about inflation in this context seems a bit superfluous. Again, we're not going to let Fox News be dictated by facts. True. Mr. Newsom, sir. How do you feel? I think to talk about inflation in this context is kind of superfluous, as the governor was just about to point out. Inflation it happened across the planet. Inflation happened across the planet. There are reasons for that because of COVID, right? And all the, domino effects that happened. You can't just turn around and say oh, it was because of Trump or it was because of Biden or whatever. Now, there are policies that one can do to try to make it a softer landing, and you can argue whether or not those policies are working. That's a different question.
10 months in a row, 4.9%. He was just with the UK Prime Minister at 6.9%. Is that because of Biden's
I think
Fed
Biden's
policy?
economic and energy policies
Directly impacted the UK's inflation?
No, I am
Or the
telling
fact that France is 5.5% or Germany's at 6.1% on inflation?
There's a whole ass war too. I mean, there's so many things that happened that made an entire collective clusterfuck. But yeah, dude, let's talk about how this is Biden's fault. Okay, dude, whatever. Yikes. Turnover is 120 people? Jesus.
We're moving in the right direction. On the issue of the border security,
he
after
inherited 1.4% inflation. It went up to 40-year high after 40-year
high. Why, though?
Globally, because you just brought up...
you just said the thing, but why? Why did inflation rise to the rate said it did at the time that it did. Happy Monday, welcome. Daisy Vegan Gamer Mom. KLMNOP 1965. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome. Blame Putin. I mean, like, the war definitely has one of the factors. Like, never mind, like, the domino effect that COVID had with the supply chains and all this other stuff. But yeah, like, there's a lot of things at play here. To just say, Daisy, thank you. Welcome. To just say that it's like, oh, it's Biden's fault. It just doesn't make any sense. I had 4 people quit today. Sheesh. We had 4 people quit today. Jeez.
So
You were making
you're
an
gonna give-
excuse for Trump's dismal jobs record related to COVID.
It wasn't a
but you
dismal
won't acknowledge
jobs record.
COVID's relationship to inflation globally. And by the way, COVID
let me
and
stop you for a
immigration
second. All right.
impacting our inflation.
Let me stop you. All right, so I would assume
But that's
you're going to
on
give,
we go in
Biden
order.
an A.
Meet your next pillow.
The presidents always get disproportionate blame or credit for the economy. True.
Right there is what it looks like when a Fox host who spends every single day in his echo chamber is actually confronted with someone capable of dealing in facts. And that was put on full display when Hannity naively decided to list a bunch of standard nebulous buzzwords that Republicans use to criticize Democrats on, only when they criticize Democrats on them, there aren't ever any Democrats to push back. And now, when there is a Democrat to push back, it puts on full display just how baseless those talking points are. And so Hannity starts blindly assailing Democrats on the economy, on inflation, the border, energy, national security, only to freeze like a deer in headlights when Newsom decides to actually engage with him on any of.
Like, yeah, and also, like, he never really answered the original question. Like, he was challenged on, like, the CHIPS Act or whatever, and I don't even know if Hannity, I don't even know if Hannity knows what's in the fucking CHIPS Act. Whatever.
Of those topics. Now, there's hardly much I can say that Newsom didn't already say to Hannity's face, but there are some points that I can expand on. Like, for example, when Hannity discards the fact that Biden's overseen the addition of 13.1 million jobs because, quote, those are post-COVID jobs, suggesting that all the jobs that were just added during Biden's presidency were the ones lost to COVID. Only, small problem, those jobs lost during COVID were fully recovered back in July of 2022. For the last year, the U.S. economy has added yet another 3.1 million jobs beyond those jobs lost during COVID. And of course, that's on top of the fact that we have near 50-year low unemployment, we've got record black unemployment, we've got the highest percent GDP growth compared to all G7 countries. So for anyone to suggest that this is not a strong economy is already absurd unto itself. But when you realize that the people criticizing this economy are the same ones defending the guy who lost 2.9 million jobs, that's when you know they're just hacks blinded by their own partisanship. Also, one point on the jobs lost during Trump's term, I know that Republicans love to pretend that COVID doesn't count for him, but Trump's handling of COVID is why that many jobs were lost. Losing millions of jobs didn't happen in spite of Trump, it happened in part because of him. He was the president. Remember, the U.S. had 20% of the world's cases and deaths, despite having only 5% of the world's population. That is not an accident.
The economy is strong, but it's not being felt by the people making the economy strong. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I call that the real economy. My understanding is the CHIPS Act is mostly giving money to some tech hardware companies and hope that they do good things. Yeah, and Sean Hannity couldn't even like come up with like anything. He was incapable of even making a good faith criticism. Because he doesn't know. I bet you he didn't even know what the CHIPS Act was.
It is the direct result of piss-poor leadership. Just like the monumental amount of jobs lost wasn't a fluke, it was, again, the result of that same piss-poor leadership. So when Republicans pretend that COVID doesn't count for Trump's record, that's like saying that George W. Bush's presidency was peaceful, except for 9/11 and the Iraq War. You can tell yourself that the things that reflect poorly on you didn't happen, but that doesn't make it a reality. And finally, COVID aside, could we please drop this bogus notion that Republicans are adept when it comes to the economy at all? Forget about COVID. There hasn't been a single Republican administration in my lifetime that has created more jobs than a Democratic administration. Of the 49 million jobs created since 1989, 96% have been created under Democratic presidents. 96%. That is 47 million jobs added by Democratic presidents and 1.9 million added by Republican presidents. Biden alone has added almost 7 times as many jobs as the last 3 Republican presidents combined. So the idea that Republicans continue to brand themselves the party of jobs is...
Yeah, that's nonsense. Okay. Yeah, the Republican Party does not give a shit about the working class.
About as accurate as the idea that they're still the party of family values. In fact, consider the unemployment rate. George H.W. Bush left office with a 7.3% unemployment rate. Clinton brought it back down to 4.2%. Then George W. Bush ran it up to 7.8%. Obama brought it back down to 4.7%. Noticing a trend? Trump ran it up to 6.3%, and Biden brought it back down to 3.7%. So again, in my entire lifetime, Republicans have exclusively allowed the unemployment rate to rise under their watch. They've simultaneously allowed the deficit as a percent of GDP to surge. Every single Republican president of the last 3 decades has watched it
Why is that?
increase, and every Democratic president of the last 3 decades has watched it decrease. In fact, during Trump's term, all of those fiscally responsible Republicans voted unanimously to add $7.8 trillion to the debt to give themselves a tax cut. A quarter of all U.S. debt was accrued under Donald Trump. So this idea that Republicans are fiscally responsible might be nice branding for them, but it is undermined by every single factual economic metric that exists. Hannity then tries to undermine this claim that the economy is doing better under Biden by highlighting that 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, to which Newsom corrects him that it was higher under Trump. So I checked those numbers. According to CNBC, the number of Americans living paycheck to paycheck right now is 58%. Still too high, for sure, but certainly below Hannity's claim of 66%. And Newsom was right. That number was higher under Trump. In fact, it was 20% higher. In 2019, 78% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. So look, I'm no debate genius, but if you're going to attack Joe Biden...
Hey, Princess GT, how's it going? I wish Diamonds would rant about their accomplishments as hard as Republicans rant about Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, we all know why that's happening. Yes, Biden, the bleeding heart union is true, and the Trump tax cut was why he was supported to be elected. I mean, yeah, it's part of it. Yellow King, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome.
Biden on Trump's behalf, maybe make sure that Trump isn't weaker on whatever point you're making first. Just, for starters. And of course, on the issue of inflation, notice how Republicans like Hannity suddenly pretend that COVID doesn't exist. When it was Trump's disastrous handling of the economy, he gets a clean slate like COVID never existed. But when it's Joe Biden cleaning up Trump's mess and dealing with inflation that is plaguing every country on earth, well, that's completely and exclusively Joe Biden's fault. In fact, just to give some context here, we've just come out of a global supply chain crisis due to COVID and another global supply chain crisis due to Russia invading Ukraine. One of these alone would be enough to cripple our supply chains and send costs soaring. But both together is unprecedented. And in case you might have...
Yeah, and by the way, that's not really over either. Okay? We're still dealing with this.
Stumbled across Fox or Newsmax or OAN and thought this was some uniquely American problem caused solely by Joseph R. Biden, maybe take a look at other major
Joseph
industrialized
Robinette Biden Jr.
countries around the world. Whereas the U.S. as of today is dealing with 4% inflation, France has 5.9%, the Eurozone as a whole has 6.9%, Germany has 7.2%, the UK has 8.7%. So not only is the U.S. not the only country contending with inflation, we're actually performing better than the majority of industrialized nations across the world. And in terms of the actual numbers, when it comes to inflation, the most recent numbers out today, again, show inflation at its lowest rate in 2 years, which I understand Hannity won't mention because it's not convenient, but it's still the truth.
Yeah, well, yeah, the thing is, Hannity is going to do whatever is necessary to get his audience to feel a certain way. Doesn't matter how correct or not Governor Newsom is. It's relevant. It's irrelevant. There are still ships that backed off the coast waiting for port. Yeah, there's a whole freaking problem on the West Coast. Never mind like the supply chain issues. There's also like a labor strike, I think, also. So that's not done. And last time I checked, the war is still happening.
And of course, while Hannity is getting killed on the facts on his own show, notice that he immediately tries to pivot to asking Newsom what he would grade Biden's presidency. He can't deal in reality, so he needs some gotcha question instead. And it really does put on full display the extent to which these right-wing talking points, and the people who promote them, are so ill-prepared to traffic in facts. I mean, my God, the fact that Hannity thought he could attack Biden on the economy when Biden's overseen 29 straight months of growth and the addition of 13.1 million jobs, all while defending Donald Trump, who lost the most jobs in modern U.S. history, really does go to show it was never about the facts. It's just about this convenient narrative that Republicans are so successful at selling in their hermetically sealed media ecosystem when there's no one to push back on the bullshit. But the moment that someone pierces that bubble, well, then we're left with the bloodbath that we saw right here. So good on Newsom for schooling Hannity on his own show, and hopefully even just a few viewers will realize that they've been fed lies by the people they've entrusted to tell them the truth. Although, to be honest, after
they won't. They don't care.
the routing that we just saw, it would be difficult for anyone watching not to have that realization.
No. Have you seen these people? they're cult members, okay? It doesn't matter. I mean, Trump himself said it. Trump literally said, I can shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for him. I mean, whatever. All right, let's talk about this because this is fucking wild. So a lot of people are making some kind of like buzz around Kennedy. But the reality is the dude's a freaking lunatic, okay? I mean, we've got like Alex Jones levels of stuff. I mean, don't listen to me. Why don't we just listen to him?
I've seen the climate apocalypse use fear to induce something approximating the same kind of level of tyranny, as far as I'm concerned, that characterized the vaccine lockdown. Help me sort that out and understand where you stand.
I see
first of all,
these like huge levels of depression.
Shut up. I see, like, first of all, there is a massive problem here because fucking Jordan Peterson immediately front loads this. Jordan Peterson immediately front loads this by saying, "Oh, they're catastrophizing the climate." Bro, have you seen the data? Have you seen the data of where the trends are going? I mean, like, this isn't like exaggerated. You could just kind of like look around at all these anomalies in terms of like the climate, and you begin to realize, like, yeah, something's fucking up. It's just like, and you've got decades of fucking data, like people who've devoted their entire lives to this shit, telling you that there's a fucking huge problem. And then to say like, oh, this is the same thing that they're gonna use to justify. Shut up.
And despair, loneliness in kids. And I don't think that there's a single cause to it. And I think blaming it on, depression about climate is probably oversimplistic. And in fact, I think a lot of the problems we see in kids, and particularly boys, it's probably underappreciated that how much of that is coming from chemical exposures, including a lot of the sexual dysphoria that we're seeing. They're swimming through a soup of toxic chemicals.
Yeah, so this is literally like fucking Alex Jones tier. This is literally fucking Alex Jones tier, okay? So because kids are swimming in toxic... What are you talking about? They're what? They're experiencing sexual... What are you talking about? What evidence do you have to even make a statement like this? Yeah, certifiable. Yeah. I mean, like, just listen to this guy. He's talking about how chemicals are causing... What? Yeah, the trans panic. Yep.
Today, and many of those are endocrine disruptors. There's atrazine.
What are you talking about? I need data, bro. Who gave Kermit a PhD? No clue.
Throughout our water supply. Atrazine, by the way, if you in a lab put atrazine in a tank full of frogs, it will...
Okay, literally fucking Alex Jones tier. I don't think he's Alex Jones. No, he's literally doing the Alex Jones thing. I'm not exaggerating. How's it going, Conscious Canuck? No, but he's actually just literally doing the gay frogs thing. Granted, it is true that there was an incident with some chemicals that messed with the frogs, but hey chat, are we frogs? wait, are we frogs? And can we prove that this chemical is the one that's yeah, it was like messing, like that part is true. But yeah, no, I've been alive for decades, and this is true. I've been alive for a few decades. I've been also swimming, by the way, and drinking the water. So yeah, aquatic organisms are very sensitive. Yes, that's true. Yes, I am a frog. There you go. RFK has a disability, losing his voice box, but is still bad opinions and decisions. Yeah, no, this is literally Alex Jones level. Like this is verbatim. Like I'm not exaggerating. This is verbatim. I mean, here. Hold on. We're gonna do it because we have to do it.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
I mean, verbatim. Now let's take a listen to what he's saying.
And by the way, if you in a lab put atrazine in a tank full of frogs, it will chemically castrate and forcibly feminize every frog in there, and 10% of the frogs, the male frogs, will turn into fully viable females able to produce viable eggs.
Yeah, so basically his argument is that like there are trans kids because water chemicals and frogs. Got it. This makes perfect sense. This makes perfect sense. Wait. Maybe we should run with this. Maybe we convince the right wing that the pollution is the cause of the trans and the genders. The trans and the genders and the gays. Maybe we can get them on board for some environmental good. Oh man. Hey, all of this. Thank you. It's an interesting hypothesis. If you kiss a gay frog, does it still turn into a prince or a yes queen? I don't know. That's a good question. So this is like the tier. What's up, Walter? This is a tier level of this is the tier level of logic that we're dealing with here. Some teachers already can switch their sex without chemical assistance, right? And like this dude is literally doing the Alex Jones thing. I wasn't kidding. This is the level of intelligence that we're operating under. And
also, they'll be able to enforce obedience, because if you're disobedient, they'll be able to shut down your bank account.
What are you talking about?
And starve you, and you'll have no access to cash.
What are you talking about?
And
does this sound like a normal person? or are we like dealing with some like Alex Jones? Are we dealing with some Alex Jones level of fucking like logic over here? By the way, this is the same dude who fucking went subscribes to the whole like vaccines give you autism thing, which has been already like debunked so thoroughly that it was some asshole went on a fucking anti-vax crusade, the original anti-vaxxer, and he found like he twisted around some data, and made this entire narrative around vaccines and autism. Friend of the stream, Walter, and made this entire narrative that vaccine causes autism, and this dude subscribes to that. So yeah, the way that was a theory regarding China's social credit standard. Oh, okay, gotcha.
People argue that this pandemic was a plandemic, and it was planned from the outset, that it's part of a sinister scheme.
I mean, like, if you didn't know who this was, and you just read a transcript, if you didn't know who this person was, and you just read a transcript of what of their beliefs, what would you like? This is indistinguishable from. This is indistinguishable from like right-wing like conspiracy plandemic shit. Okay? If you didn't know who this person was and you just read the transcript, I mean, like, we're skipping a hop from like a fucking like 4chan post or like an Alex Jones segment. If I took this out and I fucking put it into quotes and just put like an Alex Jones picture, it's indistinguishable. It might as well be like a fucking Alex Jones segment that we're watching. The Chinese social credit system is kind of effed, let's be honest. Yeah, I don't know if I would subscribe to a system like that. Seems kind of weird, don't you think? But whatever. Andrew Jeremy Wakefield, born as a British anti-vaccine. Yeah, that guy. There he is.
I can't tell you the answer to that. I don't have enough evidence. A lot of it feels...
So we don't have evidence. I'm just speculating. And here he's about to say feels. I feel. Bro, I don't give a fuck what you feel. Like, put up or shut up. If you're gonna make a fucking claim, at least back it up. Okay? Jesus fucking Christ. Like, this is the kind of problem that we're like, this is a serious problem that we're dealing with across the board. I feel. Bro, I don't give a shit. Because of things like this, we can't address the actual problems coming from the pandemic. True. A 25-year... Yeah, okay, that makes a little more sense. RFK doesn't have the skills or training to assimilate the copious amount of information or disinformation being thrown at the average citizen. He has kind of cracked. It's unfortunate. Yeah, but like, you're a politician, so like, damn, dude, I don't have time or skills or training either. So like maybe, and this is just like a personal like opinion. If you don't know something, then try to make your opinion based on what evidence we have at the time. Based on the people who actually work on this shit, right? Like, I'm not going around talking about like the climate crisis because I'm some kind of fucking expert, right? I'm simply regurgitating what people who literally spend their entire careers doing. That's it. That's what politicians have teams to deal with this kind of stuff. RK tries to do too much of it himself. Yeah, but that's not that's not good enough for me. And it seems like this dude has history of doing this shit.
Feels very bland to me, but I don't know. But I will tell you this. If you create these mechanisms for control, they become weapons of obedience for authoritarian regimes.
And then like you can't simultaneously like so wait a minute. So you say that China is like super authoritarian and all this other stuff. So then why are we talking about like why is this the nail in the coffin, right? Whatever. Did he smoke a lot? I don't know. He somebody in chat said he has like some problems with his voice box or has a disability with his voice. I don't know.
No matter how beneficial or innocent the people who created them, once you create them, they will be abused. 100% guarantee that they will be abused.
Yeah, also like red flag when you talk about like something so when you talk in absolutes like this, yeah.
They're going to have the right to compel unwanted medical interventions on us. The Nazis did that in the camps in World War.
Yeah, dude. True. Asking people to, to the extent that there was, lockdowns, because like let's be honest. To the extent that there was any lockdowns here, It is a well-known and documented thing that the lockdowns were equivalent to fucking Nazi concentration camps. True.
Too. They tested vaccines on gypsies and Jews.
True, dude. Modern vaccination is exactly how like the fucking Nazis. What a fucking moron! And furthermore, what a piece of shit. I feel like him also created a lot of problems in the medical field. Doctors and scientists now have a hard time discussing issues. Yeah, and like the thing is also like, what's fucking frustrating is like things aren't as black and white as people like have this perception that they need to be. It's not like that, okay? The medical field, the science in general, it's not like that. It's very rare where we're not dealing with fucking like gray areas, dude. There are some things that we can kind of like point to, right? We can say that after decades of research, we know that we're the ones that are driving the climate crisis. We can point out factors like fossil fuels, agriculture. We can point these out. We've had decades to kind of move us in this direction, and we can then say, well, knowing this, these are the predictions that may happen. It's just like it's very frustrating. Have now discussing issues and concern related to COVID among each other because they're afraid people like him will take those discussions, twist them out of context, and create more problems. Yeah, I think that like the only thing that I could think of is like have medical professionals, scientists, doctors, whoever is going to give out this information, properly media trained, properly media trained to be able to handle this, because like this is out of hand. This is out of hand.
And the world was so horrified after the war, we signed the Nuremberg Charter. And we all pledged when we do that, we would never again impose unwanted medical
Good thing that we never did. Good thing that we never did. What are you on about? Yeah, like the guy who came in here one day claiming that the vaccines cause kidney failure. Right, like he started off his claim, and by like that dude was like a kid. That dude pulled up an article that said like 5 people may have had some like kidney issue, but we are unable to directly correlate We weren't able to figure out the cause between that and the vaccine. However, it is something that we could possibly maybe do some more studying. If anything else comes up, we should probably keep an eye on it. Like, this is nothing this is nothing close to saying the vaccine causes kidney failure. Yeah. So they see this study and just not able to process it because, yeah, it's hard. Okay, it's hard. All right, I'm sometimes not able to just go through these things. Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Interventions on human beings without informed consent. And yet in 2 years, all of that conviction has suddenly disappeared. And people are walking around in masks where the science has not been explained to them. They are doing what they're told. They are these government agencies are orchestrating obedience.
How?
It is not democratic. It's not the product of democracy. It's the product of a pharmaceutical-driven biosecurity agenda that will enslave the entire human race and plunge us into a dystopian nightmare.
Yeah, like if I just put this in quotes, this is literally indistinguishable from fucking like an Alex Jones segment. Sorry. And like people try to shill for this guy. I had like several chatters. Well, there's like this one chatter in particular that came a couple weeks ago. Yeah, no thank you. I walk around with a mask because of the air quality sucks in the city. Jeez.
Where the apocalyptical forces of ignorance and greed will be
you got that right.
Running our lives and ruining our children.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
And have the right to
complete denial of long COVID and its potential connection to trigger. Yeah, like the dude's lost. The dude's lost. Like,
I'm gonna say one more thing. They haven't done a very good job about protecting public health, but they've done a very good job at using the quarantine to bring 5G into all of our communities.
Yeah.
And to shift a good job about protecting public health, but they've done a very good job at using the quarantine to bring 5G into all of our communities.
Yeah, using the quarantine as pretext to bring in 5G was before the quarantine. What are you talking about? Why does this guy sound like a Batman villain? I mean, like, he is a Batman villain. If you're going around as a public figure, and doing this kind of shit, yeah, you might as well be a fucking Batman. And running for president? Okay, dude. Okay. But yeah, the reason why he has like a messed up throat is like actually a medical thing. But yeah, that's the reason why he sounds the way he does. But yeah, like we're talking about like Alex Jones here, like this is a conspiracy to put more 5G. Bro, 5G has already were developed before the fucking pandemic. Because 5G is required to give people 100 million wireless broadband service. Yeah, they're sneaking in to give everyone 5G based. I suffer from ME, CFS, and an illness with many with long COVID develop. I still have to isolate due to COVID and wife also. Yikes. No consideration. Megabits, gotcha.
And to shift us all, to begin the process of shifting us all to a digital currency, which is the beginning of slavery.
What? So this is literally indistinguishable from right-wing conspiratorial Alex Jones level bullshit. I mean, okay.
Because if they control your bank account, they control your bank.
Hey, question, Mr. RFK. If you think 5G is invasive, well, do you see 6G? Yeah, we're already like talking about like 6G. But yeah, this technology was developed before the COVID thing. What are you talking about?
Behavior. And we all see these advertisements on television saying 5G is coming to your community.
As if like, yeah, Conscious Canuck, as if like as if they can't already do that. Who do you think controls your financial, like, your bank? If your bank, like, decides to shut you out, like, you're done. So currency away from government control is less free? Wait, what? I didn't understand that one.
It's going to be a great thing for all of you. It's going to change your lives. It's going to make all of your lives so much better. And it's very convincing, I have to say. Because I look at those ads and I think, that's great. I can hardly wait till it gets here. And then, because I'm going to be able to download a video game.
He's saying digital currency is slavery. Yeah, like he's talking about like a digital dollar. He's talking about like uniquely a digital dollar, not necessarily. Well, that's what he actually means. He's talking about central bank digital currency. That's what he's talking about, not like crypto or whatever, which is a fucking Ponzi scheme. Yeah, what do you think credit cards are? I heard BlackRock is developing a cryptocurrency, which won't be good if it's true. I mean, like, so BlackRock is getting in the Ponzi scheme.
Game in 6 seconds instead of 16 seconds. And is that why they're spending $5 trillion on 5G?
No, because 5G at the time, I'm gonna assume that this was, during that during the pandemic development, 5G at the time was the best technology we had. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's numbers on a computer, but he's like fabricating an entire conspiracy. Like, this is Alex Jones tier level of that we're dealing with here. This is actually like delusional.
Oh, the reason is for surveillance and data harvesting. It's not for you and me.
What do you think social media companies do? You think it's the 5G? Bro, Facebook knows more about me than I know about me, okay?
It's for Bill Gates, it's for Jeffrey Zuckerberg, and it's for Bezos, and all of the other billions.
7G is gonna fry his brain. What do you... Jeffrey Zuckerberg? Okay, whatever. Alright, so I think I made my point, right? Can we understand, like, has the point been made? Has the picture been drawn? Has the point been made? Can we just move on from like RFK? Are we good? What does RFK Jr. think of AI? Probably like the end of humanity as we know it. I don't know. Honestly, if you watch a lot of these like it's Mark Zuckerberg, but he confused the names between Jeff Bezos. He confused Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. He also likes to think he can identify with the working class. Lol. Where was this guy when we switched from dial-up to broadband? I don't know. That's probably like another conspiracy in his head. It just doesn't make any sense. He's in complete information overload. Is he? I don't know. It seems like he's kind of like this. I mean, that may be the case. You might be right. Broadband turned the frogs gay. It might be the case. That's the case. Which, wow. The internet has literally like fried brains. The internet was a mistake. Anyways, yeah, if I just took that guy's quotes and just put it on top of an Alex Jones picture, it'd be indistinguishable. Like, you might as well just be listening. Like, if there was an AI like deep fake that would have Alex Jones just reciting RFK quotes, it would be literally indistinguishable from an Alex Jones episode. That's all. And like, again, like I don't support any of this. This is garbage. This is delusional. And the dude needs to like take a step back. Maybe a few steps back. Like, we need to bring it down from like outer space and come back to planet Earth. Okay? Anyways. Dude needs a long vacation at Mountain Lake with no internet access for about a year. Yeah, a year. Yeah, just, yeah. Alright. Let's talk about this. Biden wraps up 2024 campaign with 4 Bay Area, Trump or Biden 2024. Yeah, I saw the Ask Jesus AI, but like, that's been recommended to me, or not, for you, whatever the recommendation thing is called. But I haven't seen the Trump or Biden one. Biden revs up 2024 campaign with 4 Bay Area fundraisers and on $600 million in climate investments. More promises? Not while you're fucking continuing to greenlight fucking fossil fuel projects, sir. But okay. President Biden ramps up his re-election effort this week with 4 fundraisers in the San Francisco area as his campaign builds up its coffers and lays strategic foundations for 2024. In the back half of June, Biden's campaign will have more than 20 fundraisers involving him, Vice President Harris, First Lady Joe Biden, and Second Gentleman Douglas Emhoff, according to a person involved in Biden's travel plans who insisted on anonymity to discuss the schedule. Well, it's just whatever. More than half of the fundraisers are with the Democratic president who arrived in California on Monday and was greeted by Governor Newsom. Biden also traveled to New York, Maryland, and Illinois. The president hit the themes of his campaign at Friday fundraising event in Connecticut, saying his goal is to do more to tell voters about his legislative accomplishments with infrastructure, computer chip production, and programs for responding to climate change, among other policies. I don't know about that one. But okay. Hey, come back. Okay. Quote, there's a lot we've done. We just gotta let many people know we've done it and be straight with people. Just be as straight as we can. Then explain to me why Manchin is currently getting a fucking pipeline built. How about that? Explain that one to me, Brandon. Explain it to me, please. You simultaneously want to talk about your accomplishments with responding to climate change, for example. And on the other hand, you negotiated a deal, and in that deal, you gave Manchin a fucking pipeline. And it has nothing to do with the debt ceiling. You cannot simultaneously, on one hand, tell me that you've done a whole bunch of stuff with the climate crisis, and then, like, your actions have stated otherwise. It just, I don't know. You gotta be better. You gotta do me something. You gotta give me something more than that, Brandon. Oh, true. Pipelines are straight. We're almost turning the corner on this climate change thing. True. Biden's fundraising blitz follows. Oh, sorry. The fundraising blitz follows Biden's first campaign rally on Saturday in Philadelphia, where he was endorsed by key unions. The event, highlighting a pivotal constituency in the largest population of a critical battleground state, it was meant as early display of enthusiasm for Biden's campaign and a venue for him to interact directly with voters before he spends much of the rest of the months meeting with deep-pocketed benefactors, i.e., donors, corporate interests. Let's not be shy about that. The flurry of engagements come ahead with the end of fundraising quarter at the end of the month, and Biden's campaign finance report in July will provide the first test of Democratic donor enthusiasm for his re-election efforts. Biden, unlike former President Trump and other GOP contenders, have not revealed any clues about his fundraising haul since declaring his candidacy in April. He and his campaign launch was timed to avoid having to file a campaign finance report for the first quarter, a historically rough fundraising period. For the first time in U.S. Elections, Biden has joint fundraising agreements of 50 state Democratic parties and the branch in Washington, D.C., an arrangement that can help maximize donations while minimizing expenses in the early months of the campaign. It's part of a broader effort to unite a diverse Democratic coalition behind Biden, and as the Republicans undergo what could be a large and divisive primary. One could hope. One could hope. While MAGA Republicans burn cash in their primary, competing for whose agenda is the most extreme, the president's campaign will be capitalizing on the opportunity to bring significant resources. Biden's campaign manager, Julie Rodriguez, referring to Trump's Make America Great Again slogan. All right, so yada, yada, yada. Not all of Biden's Monday and Tuesday in San Francisco is devoted to the campaign. On Monday, he went with Newsom and other officials to the Lucy Evans Baylands Nature Interpretive Center and Preserve in Palo Alto. He toured the coastal wetlands and announced $600 million for projects to address the climate change. What plans? What projects? These wetlands act as a critical buffer between rising tides and communities at risk, said Biden, calling the preserve a success story in ongoing efforts to contain the damage from climate change. Okay, all these are necessary. Yes, all of this is necessary. But until we're actually having a serious conversation about reducing emissions, eliminating carbon, fossil fuel emissions, agriculture, transportation, unless we're actually serious about this, then, I mean, you can't then claim that you're serious about climate change. Anyways, is it good that he's saying that he's going to announce $600 million in climate investments? Yes. But in the grand scheme of things, we need to be more aggressive when it comes to that. Then now is not the time. Yeah, give us electric public transportation. If you're not treating climate change like it's an existential threat, you're doing it wrong. True. And nobody seems to be doing so in terms of like the people who are in charge of the decision making. None of them. Federal incentives for walkable cities, yep. But apparently that's a conspiracy theory too. 15-minute cities? No way. It's a socialist plot. Anyways. Providence, Portland nurses walk out in the city's first nursing strike in 22 years. The nurses' strike in Portland in 22 years began early Monday at Providence Portland Medical Center, where 1,300 nurses walked off the job. The 100 nurses at Providence Hospital and Seaside and 400 at the Health Giants Home Health and Hospice Service were expected to join the 5-day work stoppage soon after. Two sides have been unable to craft a mutually agreeable deal. The union argues its members' primary demand is new minimum staffing rules to address chronic understaffing they say has become the norm during the pandemic. True, Lucian. This isn't just about money, and it never has been. It's about sick time, paid time off to care for ourselves and our families, ensuring safe staffing so our patients are properly cared for, and making our careers sustainable. These are the nurses talking. So just like in the railroad strike, Offering them money isn't going to solve the core issue of their demands. Working conditions is what they're really trying to address. Providence argues that it has made a fair offer that would have increased the wages. And they're not. But see, this is like the disconnect here. This happened in the rail strike too. They don't give a shit. They're not asking for more money. If the strike was about money, they'd be talking about they'd be talking about wages. Offering them more money isn't resolving the core issue that is the reason for them striking to begin with. Doesn't matter. 2,500 bonus, 30 more hours, whatever. It doesn't matter. What they're looking for is this: paid time off. That's it. Paid time off, proper staffing, and sick time. Ha! True, Lucian. The Providence CFO has house for sale too, $5 million. Yeah, see, there's some ideas of where the issue is there. The two sides cannot agree on how much the nurses get paid today. It's not even about that. They're telling you it's not. The current average full-time equivalent salary for a Providence Portland nurse is $128,000. The union claims that its figure significantly inflated the median salary for nurses. The union said is about $99,000. It don't matter. The Providence has hired 300 to 400 replacement nurses to staff its Portland Medical Center during the strike, nearly 1,000 fewer than its typical headcount. Providence Portland has canceled non-emergency surgeries and drastically curtailed other services. This is under a private system, okay? Administrators said nearby patients suffering life-threatening conditions should still seek care at the Providence Portland, but advise those who aren't nearby or who those needs are urgent to seek care at other hospitals. Because this one is currently driven by profit motives. The Oregon Nurse Association said patients should not delay medical care in response to the strike and that it did not consider seeking care at the hospital to be crossing picket lines. As the strike deadline loomed last week, the Oregon Nurse Association blasted Providence officials for refusing to continue negotiations. Providence countered that it has been negotiating since October with no deal, and the managers are too busy trying to hire temporary nurses that will allow both Providence, Portland, and Seaside to remain open. They don't make good money because they're paid well. They make that money because they're working over 80 hours a week. Jesus. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on how this strike is going on. Well-funded Christian group behind U.S. efforts to roll back LGBTQ rights. Surprise, 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 right? Like, I mean, yes, and the grass is green and the sky is blue. Water is wet. The U.S. With the U.S. besieged by a right-wing culture war campaign that aims to strip away rights from LGBTQ plus people and others, blame tends to be focused on Republican politicians and conservative media figures because they're the ones that are at the front of this. But lurking behind the efforts to roll back abortion rights, to demonize trans people and peel back protections afforded to gay and queer Americans is a shadowy, well-funded right-wing organization, experts say, legal organization. Since it was formed in 1994, Alliance Defending Freedom has been at the center of a nationwide effort to limit the rights of women and LGBTQ plus people, all in the name of Christianity. The Southern Poverty Law Center has termed it an anti-LGBTQ hate group, and that has extended its tentacles into nearly every area of the culture war. In the process, it has won the ear of some of the most influential people in the U.S. become a danger to every American who values their freedoms, according to GLAAD, the LGBTQ advocacy organization. Water can make things wet. True. Correction. Water can make things wet. That is true. Through model legislation and lawsuits filed across the country, the ADF aims to overturn same-sex marriage, enact a total ban on abortion, strip away already minimal rights that trans people are afforded in the U.S. Under the Trump administration, the group found its way into the highest echelons of power, advising Jeff Sessions and then Attorney General before he announced sweeping guidance to protect religious liberty and chipped away at the LGBTQ plus protections. The organization counts as much among its sometimes associates Amy Coney Barrett, the Supreme Court Justice, who the Washington Post reported spoke 5 times at an ADF training program established to push distinctively Christian worldviews in every area of law. That is a massive red flag. The ADF is engaged in a very strong campaign to put a certain type of religious view at the center of American life, said Rabia Mudakam, senior staff attorney at the Center for Reproductive Rights. The ADF campaign extends to abortion, LGBTQ folks, to immigration, what kind of religion we think America is, what kind of people we think are American. It's as dramatic as that. We're in a fight to preserve democracy and preserve America as a place where we do tolerate, encourage, and empower everyone. The ADF was founded in 1994 by a group of leaders of the Christian community, according to its website. Among those leaders, James Dobson, the founder of the anti-LGBTQ plus Focus on the Family organization, who has said the 2012 Sandy Hook mass shooting, which 20 children and 6 adults were killed, was a judgment from God because of declining church numbers. Yeah, that's the kind of people we're dealing with. Its leaders remained involved in niche interpretations of Christianity. Kirsten Wagner, an ADF chief executive, also serves as legal counsel to the Assemblies of God, a church which encourages worshipers to speak in tongues and believes in divine healing. The power of prayer is a medical tool. Jesus. Over the past 2 decades, ADF has been a main driver in dozens pieces of right-wing legislation and lawsuits. The organization is currently behind the lawsuit Theory to Creative Inc. versus Elenis, in which the Supreme Court is expected to decide this month, and which could chip away at LGBTQ plus rights. This is a classic ADF. It's a case that is classic ADF, a seemingly manufactured issue with the group has managed to chase all the way to the American legal system. This is the website one. This is the website one. So basically, it's like the wedding cake case, but the wedding website in this case. This is manufactured, obviously. I mean, seriously, they even picked the same theme. They went with weddings. Whatever. Another ADF obsession is abortion, which involved. Midicum said in Makano, I'm not even going to pretend I know how to pronounce that, said in crafting a 15-week abortion ban in Mississippi, which prompted a legal case that found its way to the Supreme Court, which eventually resulted in Roe v. Wade. Like, yeah, dude, this is what we're dealing with, and how dangerous these people are. Alliance Defending Freedom has been instrumental in dismantling Roe and its ongoing efforts to eliminate abortion nationwide. They enacted a law that they knew was unconstitutional, and they enacted it for the purpose of generating case after case to push it to the Supreme Court until they found a court that was sympathetic to their argument. Yeah. She added, I think that's exactly what's happening in the LGBTQ context as well. Their goal is to limit individual rights as much as possible. The ADF website shows the breadth of its involvement in right-wing culture wars. The organization touts its work opposing abortion, opposing same-sex marriage, and opposing trans rights. We advocate for laws and precedents that promote human flourishing by recognizing the important difference between men and women. Nobody has argued this. Honoring God's design for marriage. I don't give a fuck. Nope, don't care. Emerson Hodges, a research analysis SPLC, said what ADF is really attempting to do is undo LGBTQ social and legislative progress. They go under the guise of religious liberty and religious freedom. What that means, though, is that is this religious liberty to discriminate and religious freedom to invalidate LGBTQ individuals. So yeah, this is the kind of this is the state that we're dealing with, essentially. Very, 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 very disturbing. All right, folks, we're gonna end on this one. Suspect arrested after FBI uncovers alleged mass shooting plot. Yeah, surprise, surprise, it's a neo-Nazi. A Michigan suspect whose authorities expressed explicit neo-Nazi and anti-Semitic ideologies was arrested on Friday by FBI, who alleged he stockpiled weapons and was planning a mass shooting. Yep, another potential act of violence. Like when the Department of Homeland Security and other fucking law enforcement bodies have said, even during the Trump administration, that the far right have remained the most persistent and lethal threat in terms of domestic terrorism. This is what we're fucking talking about. Okay? The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Michigan charged this piece of shit with transmitting a communication containing a threat to injure another. Investigators allege a suspect had communicated with another on Instagram where they expressed strong views against Jewish population. Oh boy. Support for neo-Nazis and idolization of previous mass shooters. When the FBI searched the suspect's home earlier, they found a cache of weapons, a Nazi flag, a ghillie suit, gas mask, and military sniper survival manuals. I mean, yeah. Yeah, the GOP is a party of insurrection, sedition, Christofascism, and domestic terrorism. True. And the FBI searched the suspect's home. We went through this. Yeah. I mean, yeah. A search of the suspect's home found a message in the Notes app where he had identified a synagogue in East Lansing, a date, and a list of equipment. Jesus Christ. That is so fucking scary that in the year of our Lord, in 2023, we're fucking dealing with this shit. Another fucking potential tree of life incident. Another potential tree of life incident. In this case, law enforcement was ahead of it. Jesus. You forgot anti-intellectual, anti-healthcare. Yeah, I mean, like, the list goes on and on, but true. Yes. Anti-Semitic threats and violence against our Jewish communities, or any other group for that matter, will not be tolerated in Western District of Michigan, said U.S. Attorney Mark Totten in a statement. Today and every day, we'll take all credible threats seriously. Attorney information for the suspect was not immediately available. The suspect's mother told the ABC News in a phone call that her son is still in jail pending a detention hearing next week. I mean, like, yeah. God and gun. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Why inside U.S. it's extremist terrorists, but exactly the same, even literally same people like the U.S. Misanthropic Division guy, full of tattoos, are freedom fighters with billions of... What are you talking about? Whatever. There's a long list of negative attributes to the GOP, but I focus on the ones that should make them pariahs in any form of... Yeah, that's the thing, though. In any, like, normal circumstance, like, this shouldn't fly. This shouldn't be flying at all. The fact that there's still GOP voters to this degree is concerning. The fact that how many people voted for Trump, like 70 million in 2020, that is fucking concerning. Staub asserted that she believes her 19-year-old son was nonviolent, was not truly planning an attack. Bro, the guy was a fucking neo-Nazi by definition. He by definition, dude. He said some stuff online that he shouldn't have. Nah. He would never hurt anybody. Nah. Staub also said the guns and tactical gear seized by the FBI in search of home belonged to her and her husband, not her son. The dude began consuming anti-Semitic content online while he was isolated during the pandemic and didn't have access to the mental health treatment that he needed. Does link work in chat? No, they don't. The FBI said received a report on Tuesday about threatening communications made online. The complaint said Meta provided investigators with information related to this username associated with threats, and the FBI alleges it found several messages by the user. It was later identified as the subject, making anti-Semitic slurs and praising neo-Nazi ideology. Yeah, my son is not violent. Whatever, dude. The suspect alleged talked about his admiration for the 2019 Christchurch mass shooting in New Zealand. According to the criminal complaint, the date allegedly found the notes app was on the 5th anniversary of the shooting. Further, yeah, this is like red flag versus red flag, like red flag after red flag after red flag. Further investigation into the report, into the suspect's social media accounts found other images and posts that include posts of Nazi imagery and other mass shooters. Yeah. This is why people hate these kind of parents. Sorry, but your child, no matter how you raise them, is capable of doing wrong. Right. In this case, like, how are you? Yeah, he said some things he shouldn't have. Bro was fucking like a neo-Nazi, dude. Hey, why the fuck are you like messaging me? Did I ask for like a direct message? I don't even know what this link is. Like, unless I specifically ask to be sent something, don't DM messages. If there are no links in chat, there's a reason for that. If you want to send me something, generally, every person asks. Every single person, or I'm the one who asks to be sent directly. It's that simple. Is it an indirect question? No, I'm saying why are you messaging me if I didn't ask? Oh, that makes it easier. True, you may yeah, messaging, yeah, like if I wanted like a link to something that you're talking about, I always specifically say send it to me. And that's when, you know, people usually send me things. And normally I don't mind. But that was a little, normally I don't mind, but that was a little out of line. Coming in here like first chat, nah, I'm good. Among the contraband allegedly found in the suspect's home were magazines, shotgun, a rifle, a pistol, various knives, and firearm accessory. No American should face threats against them based on their race or religion, said James Taraska, the special agent in charge of the FBI in Michigan, said in a statement. Crimes like the one alleged in this complaint have a profound effect not only on the intended target, but on their entire community. True. All right, folks, we made it. We got through all the articles, folks. Can I share a link? Sure. If it doesn't work in chat, send it to me. If it doesn't work in chat, send it to me. Because like sometimes I think it's only if you are VIP. Otherwise, I don't know if it works for subs. I don't remember. But if not, just send it to me. Okay, so no, you're gonna have to send it to me. I guess not. Oh, this is the video. All right. You know what? Let's end on a meme. Hey, do you want to know how like what stage of capitalism we're in? Let's use $50 to throw food. Let's do it. For a meme, by the way. For a meme I can post on the internet. Yeah. Always makes me sad. Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't know if there is something to understand, to be quite frank. I don't know if there is something to understand, to be quite frank. Yeah, it was a delivery guy who was tipped $50 to do that. It was a delivery guy that was tipped $50 to do exactly just that. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's for the memes, apparently. It was Uber Eats. Yeah, Uber Eats, sorry. The guy delivered it, came back, and then threw it on the street. Yeah, I don't know what the trend is here, or if it's a trend. I don't know. Alright, folks. I gotta get out of here. It's just past 7 o'clock. Folks! Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the support. I appreciate the follows, the subs, the biddies, all of that. Thank you guys so much. If you guys enjoy the content and want to help support the channel, make sure you hit the follow button. It really does help us out. Also, something that I'm trying to really promote is the YouTube channel. If you guys have 5 seconds later, or it's on my profile anyways, but if you guys have a chance, head on over to the YouTube channel, hit the big red subscribe button. It really does help us out. I appreciate it. We're at 241. And that's a pretty big deal for me, at least me. But it really does help us out. It was a pleasure to manage to catch the end of your stream today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you hanging out. Sharpie Diesel, thank you. Lucien, thank you. Thank you so much. Alio, thank you so much. SV Harkin, Abond, thank you. I appreciate it. Olethus, thank you so much for hanging out, and thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Lulu Safe, the Ketchup Lord, Calum P, thank you. Have a good night. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. So yeah, if you guys want to help out, just hit the subscribe button. Spread the word far and wide. We're here Monday through Thursday, except this Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Just doing the news, doing the politics, and bring a friend. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Have you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time. See ya. Phew. Hang tight, folks. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.